So tell the audience, what is Lumina? What is the Lumina?
So the Lumina project, like we've talked about, we've identified a lot of problems that people are facing. And like I said, it's not about just looking for problems. It's like, I can either be a group, we at Excite Capital can continue to be a group of people that just complain, or we can be a group of people that make a change. And when Dr. Oni moved to Nigeria, we started having conversations about how we can make a change. We have a partner, Eno Hansen, which is one of our partners at Excite Africa as well. We all will come and put our heads together. What can we do to be a part of the change? And when we had a lot of conversation, we had a lot of feasibility studies. We said, well, what if we can just do what we've done here in the US, where we now as diasporans here in the US and globally, we're able to own institutional grade assets here. We're not going in and buying lands and just owning properties. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Because here in the United States, if you buy a land and you buy properties, as long as you pay your taxes on it, it's yours. But back home, we have all these problems. How can we be a part of the solution? Because this is our home. And 4 of us came together and said, you know what, let's look for the right partners. Let's look for the right location and let's build something. The Lumina was created specifically for folks in Nigeria and folks in the diaspora to come together as a fusion to own institutional grade assets in Africa, starting with Lagos. And we decided to choose a location that's one of the best locations in Africa to build that project, because that's what we do here in the United States. We don't buy properties in areas that doesn't have, good schools, good economy, good facilities. We want to make sure as we come together as a group globally to invest in Africa, we do that in locations that we know when we buy it, we own it. When we invest, we know our money is going to come. We partner with the right people to make sure they run it because they know how to do it. Imagine owning a piece of Hilton or Marriott. The Lumina is giving a lot of the diasporas and folks back home the opportunity to own a quality assets just like Marriott and the Hilton.
Absolutely. 1000%. You couldn't have said it any better.
So why is now the right time for people to invest back home in Africa?
You go into any private equity conversation, you go into any conference and you see the billionaires of the world, the large private equity firms, they say the greatest opportunity that exists right now other than AI is Africa.
Why is that?
Because Africa has the youngest population in the world. Now, when you talk about investments abroad, remember that anything you invest in has to serve people, right? Most other economies in the world have a declining population. Do you know that? Right.
I think I've seen
a lot of economies in the world are struggling with population. Africa doesn't have that
problem.
Giving
incentive for people to come.
Yeah, Africa doesn't have
giving
that
them
problem.
Nationality.
Africa doesn't have that problem. It's a youthful population as well, and a population now that is getting exposed to the rest of the world with the digital age. So it's a much more intelligent younger generation. So when you are looking at markets or investments, you want to go where people are going, where people exist that are going to be there for a long period of time. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why Africa presents a lot of opportunity. And then a lot of places in Africa have been mismanaged over the years. So there's a lot of runway to grow. Just imagine like the societies that we see here in the US and how much path that we have to develop Africa to get to that point. As diasporans, we have the exposure, we have the experience.
And the expertise.
The expertise to do exactly that.
But the thing is, that's really, really the truth. It's like we have what it takes to transform the trajectory of Africa.
And we will.
And we have the resources as well. Not that we don't have the resources. We have the resources. And I think this is a good time because a lot of people didn't think that Excite Capital would be able to do it here in the US. They thought that Africans cannot come together and build anything of significance.
That's a great point. You remember when we started Excite Capital, we were having conversations with some of the older investors. Like we met like these doctors that have been in practice for 20, 30 years. And I remember one of those conversations, they looked at us and they said, my sons, this thing you guys are doing, we are very proud of you. Because we have been talking for decades.
That's what everybody
but we never took the action.
They go to a family gathering and they just keep talking. and just keep talking. Nobody is doing anything.
They say, but you guys are doing it. And we are very proud of you. As long as you guys maintain these values that you guys have said you've created, we're going to be behind you. And that's exactly what we did. We proved that as Africans, we can come together and create wealth. We have acquired $276 million of apartment communities in the US, with 70 to 80% of our investors being Africans in the diaspora. This is something that many thought was impossible. We're talking about close to $80 million in equity raised from our brothers and sisters, and close to $10 million in returns that have already been distributed back to these investors. So we are investing now in institutional grade assets. We are creating wealth. We are owning large apartment communities here in the US. We will do exactly the same thing in Africa, and we're going to start with the Lumina project.
And we can't wait for you guys to learn more about it. And of course, we invite you guys to be do we want to invite them to be part of the Founders?
Yes, you invite you to be part of Founders Wall. Guys, do the same thing we do in the US. Don't keep this to yourself. Wealth is built by communities. Share with each other, right? Learn. If you're not ready to jump in and invest right now, at least now you know Excite Africa is setting the groundwork for the future.
Yep.
To build Africa. We are Africans, and we would build Africa.
And own a piece of Africa. So what do you think people in the West or folks in the diaspora, the misconception they have about investing in real estate in Africa?
You know, interesting thing that I've noticed over the last few years is actually more people in the diaspora, non-Africans, are going to Africa to invest in real estate. Mm-hmm. For example, like a lot of my CRNA colleagues are buying properties in Ghana.
And they're using mortgage too.
Yeah, and they're using a mortgage to buy those properties in Ghana. And a lot of them are asking about Africa. There's actually a huge thirst right now by Americans to invest in Africa.
Yeah, that's
especially true. Black Americans.
Right.
Right? Because they see the opportunities from a perspective of pure opportunities, whereas us as Africans, we have emotional attachment to what's happening in our country.
Right.
For example, we're worried about the government, we're worried about this, we're worried about that, and all of that stuff. While Americans, all they see is opportunity. For example, in Nigeria right now, the flow of funds in Nigeria is mostly foreign. A lot of foreign companies are going into Nigeria and investing. Yeah. While a lot of us are running away.
Oh, we're not necessarily running away, but we're buying lands and are thinking that we own assets, right?
Yes.
Or we have investment property, not knowing that, there's a lot of, or knowing that there's still the fear, but we're just doing it anyway because we want to own.
Yeah, good point.
And I think the thing is just to make sure, just like everybody else is going to go own a piece of Africa, we too that are here wants to continue to own as well. A lot of people think that the real estate there, of course, there's a lot of challenges where people own properties, the value of the property drop in terms of, because it's not an investment. And that's why the apartment hotel that we're looking to do is important, because it serves the test of people visiting. It helps, it serves the tourism. It helps with tourism, right? And it's in a prime location, so there's always going to be a need for it. And after our studies, we observed that that is a location that doesn't have what we're looking to do, and that will help people make money. So I think there's a notion that if you invest in Africa or you go buy properties in Africa, you're not going to make money. It's not an investment. Yes. And like you said, it's an emotional decision. So I think Excite Capital and Lumina Project is going to be changing that for people, where they now see it as an investment, rather than being that emotional decision that they made or they usually make.
And it could be a combination of both. That you own something back home as well that you could go over there and spend vacation with your family.
With your family, exactly.
Yeah. I know that you contributed towards the development of that space, but it makes money for you. That's what an investment is. It's about building communities and getting returns for the value that you bring to those communities.
And there's a significant pride of ownership. Like I said when I said it earlier. Imagine you being able to say, I own Hilton Hotel in Lagos.
Exactly.
I own Marriott, or I own Waldorf Astoria in Lagos. The Lumina is going to be one of those signature projects in Africa that people are going to visit. Diplomats, we diasporans, we're all going to go visit. We'll be able to stay there, have a good time, and of course make money while we're doing that as well.
Yes, absolutely.